Hey everybody, um, welcome back. This is episode 3 of my life with OCD. Um, this video will be brief, but I'm going, I think, beyond high school is where I left off. Um, as I said previously, high school is when OCD really started to hit hard, and I noticed that people were noticing that the compulsions I was doing were quite obvious, and it became very embarrassing but impossible for me to stop. Now, after high school, I graduated in 1997, 2000, 1997, and in 1999, my mom had an awful bicycle accident that left her paralyzed. She had massive internal injuries. She was on life support for over a month and a half, and I noticed that I don't have a whole lot of memories from that time because there was an alleged affair going on between my father and somebody, excuse me, somebody else. My mom was in the hospital, and I was in an awful relationship, and I was still in denial about having any problems, having any kind of mental disorders, and I refused and refused and refused to see the doctors. Um, when my mom was released out of the hospital, got out of one bad relationship and into an even worse one, and my family was so torn apart that it was just almost irreparable. I mean, it was ridiculous, and I felt so much guilt for not being there for my mom, um, for fighting with my sister, my brother-in-law, and for the years that I spent not talking to my dad. Um, I started something called self-harm, which is common in OCD, and as embarrassing as this might be to discuss, uh, it basically involves hitting myself or hurting myself in some way. And I started off small, and eventually it got worse and worse. Um, when I was working at CVS from December 2007 to June of 2010, the OCD and the self-harm were so bad that I was going to work with, for one, I was constantly hitting myself in the forehead. And you might laugh at that and think that's, kind of funny or whatever. And in a way it is. I guess I could see how people might think that's funny. But it was really bad. My forehead was constantly red and swollen. And trying to explain that to people was not an easy thing. I started hitting myself in my shoulders and in my arms, especially my left arm. And it was really embarrassing when the kids that I worked with at CVS would ask me, Eli, why is your arm black? Because literally my entire arm would just be black from my shoulder to my elbow, and that was from hitting myself. And it's actually something that's very common in OCD. There's something called trichotillomania, which is hair pulling, and that's a form of OCD where somebody feels compelled to pull their hair out, and they can't stop. There's also people that are called cutters, and they will take knives and they'll cut themselves as a way of relieving the stress and the tension that comes along with OCD. And then there's me, who has, as I said, hit myself in the forehead so much that it was constantly swollen, hit myself in the shoulder and the arm so much that my arms were black. I've hit myself in the ankle so much that my ankle was so swollen that I could barely fit my shoe on. I hit myself in the knees as well, and I already have bad knees. Both of those have swollen up while I've done that too. So I really, I know that this is a common thing, and it's something that is very hard to discuss with people. And for somebody that does it, if any of you out there watching this has this, notices these types of symptoms, then I do highly suggest seeing a doctor, because I waited to see a doctor and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited until my late 20s, and I could have seriously benefited from seeing a doctor when I was in high school, right out of high school. There's medications that they have that can be helpful, and there's psychotherapy, and that sounds scary, but all it is a psychologist who will listen and help you through, by giving you tools and exercises to do. Um, as I said, this episode's going to be really short, so um, thank thank you for watching. And when I get my power turned back on in the house, I'll be able to make another episode, and it'll be a lot longer, and we'll finally delve into um, the different types of OCD and anxiety disorders that are out there. So, again, I want to thank everybody for watching, and feel free, as always, to uh, leave any questions or comments you have below the video, or contact me on Facebook. Just search Elias Carbajal. Alright, thank you.